Hey friends, welcome back to a brand new vlog. We are at the end of the week, and so as I promised you, rather than kind of showing you bits and pieces throughout the week when not much has been happening, I am just going to give you an update on how the week went. I've actually been on the road for the most of this week. I'm currently sitting on the floor in a random hotel room in a random part of Oklahoma for reasons I will explain some other day. But as a result, I've been kind of traveling a lot this week. A lot has actually happened, but a lot of it has been done via phone calls, video calls, text messages, emails, all of these sorts of things. Not a lot has actually happened in the real world. So there hasn't been a lot to kind of really show you. That said, a lot has happened, so I'm going to give you an update on everything that's gone down. Let's talk about Dirtbag first. So the big news out of this week is that I actually finally got to the end of the creative for the MVP for the brand, the first version of the brand creative and the logo and all those sorts of things. And I'm really happy with where it's landed. I will show you that in more detail probably next week, but I literally just had the final package delivered this morning, which is really, really exciting. The other thing is that there was all of the engineer site visits this week and a lot of negotiations going on with the landlords for two of the properties that I'm really excited about. The two properties that I've been looking at that I've actually really honed in on offers with have been the one that you saw previously that had that kind of just very plain white box kind of situation with the skylights at the back. And the other one was the one that was kind of quite interestingly fit out. Has the two different spaces. It used to be a very edgy store, clothing store. It has a really great backyard, and it also had a really nice basement. So they're the two that I've been in negotiations on this week. We've got to something that is workable for both of them. I'm just waiting on reports from the engineer and from the contractors to make sure that they're both possible within budget, and then I can make a decision and move forward. So at the moment, it actually looks like we might finally get to the end of that next week. So super excited for that to actually happen. The other thing that I've been doing is speaking to a lot of manufacturers for machinery and starting to get that stuff going. So that's been really exciting to actually start to get those conversations more refined. So a lot has been going on with all of those sorts of things. The other really important thing that I've done whilst I've been on the road is I've actually been visiting supermarkets and looking at how laundry product is presented and looking at what is on the shelves and those sorts of things across America, which I've found to be a really interesting process, because I think that particularly when you live in big cities on the coasts, like I live in New York, it's very easy to think that the environment that you live in is representative of America, and obviously New York is not representative of America. Neither is LA or San Francisco and these sorts of cities. So actually just visiting supermarkets in random parts of Oklahoma, for instance, has been incredibly interesting. I'll put some videos on the screen or some photos on the screen, and so you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But something that I found really interesting is that so many of these are just walls of product from P&G. Or from Henkel, which is a German company. And so you'll end up with this entire aisle of laundry product, and 95% of it is from one of those brands, which is kind of amazing, or one of those manufacturers or parent companies, however you want to think about it. What it has made me really believe is that there must be an opportunity for a different voice in that market. And I know that there are a lot of other little kind of D2C brands and things like that in the mix, and so I'm not saying that there's no other options. I just definitely feel like there is room at a supermarket level, which is interesting to me. So on the Uniform Victor front, on the skincare front, as I mentioned previously, there have been some changes to the FDA process or the FDA regulations when it comes to sunscreens. So monitoring that really closely. It has also meant a pretty fundamental product strategy and brand strategy shift. So a lot of it has been working through that this week. I've also spent a bunch of time with our chemist and formulator to actually go through what that means from a product formulation perspective and those sorts of things, and have been speaking with our dermatologist about exactly what that looks like and what she would recommend from a dermatological perspective, but also thinking about where consumer tastes are going and where trends are going in the category generally. So that's been really curious to work through. I've also just been fascinated by everything that I've been learning from our dermatologist about active ingredients in particular. She has been unbelievably helpful in teaching me how to read like these sorts of papers. I have a master's degree in business research, so I'm very comfortable with reading research papers, but every different kind of field has a different way of presenting content. So it's been really interesting to work through that. Next week, meeting with them some more to actually go through the reformulation brief for the product, which is really exciting. Also hoping to start to get some more movement on the creative now that we have the name locked in and all of those sorts of things, and the brand strategy is a little bit more refined in light of everything that has happened with the FDA. So next week, looking to be just as eventful as this week. I will still be on the road. I expect to get back probably at the very end of next week. So a lot of it is going to be done remotely again. So you'll probably get another update like this next week, but super excited to see where it's going. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching every single week and like joining me. I know I've got like no subscribers at this point, but I appreciate every single one of you just for kind of watching, paying attention, subscribing, all those sorts of things. I appreciate the messages I get from people and all the rest, because this is a huge journey, and it's nice to think that someone out there is kind of on it with me. Anyway, on that note, enjoy what's left of your week, and I will see you next week. Bye.